And what is neurophenomenology? When Francisco Varela, who was, one of the initial proponents of the inactive approach, when he first proposed neurophenomenology, he proposed it as a remedy, not a solution to the hard problem of consciousness, right? Why did it choose that word? A remedy he drew from, it's like a Wittgensteinian, a philosophical remedy, right? It's not that like neurophenomenology will allow me to reach to a theory of consciousness and explain consciousness emerging from the brain. Or maybe it's idealistic, right? Like we can be kind of ontologically agnostic about that. But remedy is, no, I reject your presuppositions. I reject this kind of Cartesian internalist assumptions or ontology you bring to the table. And I just say, I'm not going to treat neural level as a privileged locus of causality, right? That is the physical locus, and somehow the mind emerges from it, right? Because it's rejecting the whole substance ontology, right? It's rejecting the whole substance metaphysics of saying that there is a physical stuff and a mental stuff in the first place. And really, neurophenomenology is about there is rich first-person experience derived from rigorous scientific methods, right? Like microphenomenology, right? And there is rich third-person data, quote-unquote third-person data, right? We can still say that third person is actually intersubjective, right? Because it's not really objective in that sense. Third-person data, whether that's neural data, physiological data, and then I can create a shared formalism, right? A bridging methodology. And his initial intention was dynamical systems formalism, right? Because he was grounded in that. He realized that inactive approach and complex dynamic systems share a lot of fundamental presuppositions that makes the mathematics of dynamical systems very fitting with inactive ontology. So then what we are doing in the practice of neurophenomenology is that we are describing mutual constraints, right? We're not trying to reduce, we're not trying to correlate, we're not trying to predict. We're saying there is this rich dynamic unfolding happening at the experiential level, right? It's valid. In a way, it's epistemically primary, right? Because it's really, this is the whole point of reflexivity, transcendentalism coming from Husserl, that we use consciousness to study consciousness. So you start from that, but then there's also this alternative description or perspective, the neural data, which also appears in experience, but it gives me a different perspective to the same phenomena, same holistic phenomena as it's unfolding. So I can use both these descriptions and I can use them in a mutually constraining way, right? It's not one directional, you see. It's not that like this predicts that, or this correlates with that, or that emerges from this, or this explains that, right? I'm not trying to explain it. I'm just maintaining this circularity between the neural data and the first person phenomenological data to inform my description of both in their full richness. So that's the inactive answer to neurocentrism, to neuroreductionism. Neurophenomenology, unfortunately, as I mentioned, because these attractor states of neuroreductionism is so deep that people still call it neurophenomenology because they have neural data and phenomenological data, but they're still just explaining phenomenological data with neural data. It's not about this circularity. It's still like one directional.